It has been almost exactly a year since ESPN fired Samantha Ponder, longtime host of NFL Countdown. More importantly, one of my best friends on the planet, an incredible soul who really bears all in this conversation. This is the first time she's publicly talked about anything related to the firing, how it happened, how it felt, but most importantly, how it changed her, what she's learned about herself, what she has been doing since then, and the struggle to figure out what's next. There were a lot of tears in this one, I will admit, from both of us. I don't know that I've ever sat down with somebody who chose to reveal as much and be as vulnerable as Samantha was about things that, you know what, are a lot more important than what we do for a living on TV or elsewhere. So I know you're going to enjoy this one. Samantha is an incredible soul who has inspired me and continues to do so. Enjoy every moment of my conversation with the one and only Samantha Ponder, speaking for the first time. The fact that we are here together, face to face. I can't hug you. This mic's in the way.
Hi, Sam. I'm already sweaty. Hi. The fact that we're here together is actually not shocking. The fact that we're here together and this is going to be heard by other people is what's shocking.
Bingo! Yes, exactly. The funny thing is, and I think a lot of people know our friendship goes way, way, way back to when we were, well, some of us were children. I was not.
Stop.
To the Scripps National Spelling Bee in Washington, D.C. in 2011. I think that's what we determined, right?
It's where all the true intellectuals meet.
Absolutely. Obviously, yes, at the spelling bee. And we were just like, what did they just spell?
It was very intimidating. The kids were legitimately smarter than me and they were like 9 years old. It was rough.
Listen, let's just get right to it, honestly, because I think everybody knows now you were fired from ESPN, the job that you worked for how long?
I was at ESPN for 14 years, and then I'd been in the industry for 20.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I know you got fired, but I think the reason why and the way it was done is something that if you're comfortable sharing, I think people need to know.
Yeah. Okay, so can I back up
You
a little
go
bit?
wherever you want to go.
So some of my feelings, because I think a lot of people have asked me, like, did you see it coming? Did you think this was going to happen? I kind of knew it was possible for a little over a year because summer of 2023, I had tweeted, you're kind of a part of this whole story. I had tweeted or retweeted at the time Paula Scanlon, who was a swimmer at UPenn with Leah Thomas, her story. She had shared her story. And I tweeted something to the effect of, like, it's worth listening to her story. This is really powerful. I didn't really think that was going to get much of a response, but it did. We got, between that tweet and I think there was maybe one or two like replies to other people that I thought were fairly innocuous at the time, but we both got the same email.
Within about 30 seconds of each other.
Yeah. It was a form email. We didn't realize, it was kind of funny. I'm glad that we had the connection where we were like sharing, because when you sent me the screenshot of your email, I was like, that's the exact same email I got. Which, this is terrible, but kind of made me feel a little better. I'm like, all right, I got a buddy in this.
I'm not alone.
That said, essentially that they were uncomfortable with me talking about the trans women in women's sports issue, and that they weren't going to allow me to misgender people. And it was a decently long email. I wrote back immediately. I'd never heard from this boss before.
I will say this boss was one of the top.
Yeah. This was coming from the top, where you see that name and it's like, ooh, here we go. And I just wrote back and said, basically, can you be specific? Because I still didn't think, I hadn't said anything like mean-spirited. I basically was trying to give more spotlight, whatever limited spotlight I had, to these girls' stories, whether it was Riley Gaines or Paula, because I just felt like, I wasn't seeing it on SportsCenter. And anyway, so I honestly didn't think that was that big of a deal. But then when I got the email, obviously I knew it was. And so I just asked for clarification. I said, what exactly did I say that is against company policy? And the truth is, he responded, within minutes saying, I'm actually not sure. I'll get back to you on that. So I was like, did I just get scolded and the person scolding me doesn't know why? Like, this is strange.
Amazing in writing, too, to put that in writing.
Yeah, it was a choice. So then the next week, I got a detailed email that went through, at the time on Twitter, you could see what people liked or favorited. And so they told me that I had favorited a tweet of Megyn Kelly's. This isn't verbatim. Someone can check me on this, but I think the tweet just said, men don't need gynecologists. There was some story about women waiting in line behind a trans person at a gynecologist, and people were fired up. And I thought, like, that is something that I think we've all agreed upon since the beginning of gynecology. I don't know my gynecologist history, but I didn't think that was a big deal. I had just favorited it. In some ways, I thought it was funny because of how ridiculous it is. Any woman who's been to the gynecologist can understand that, I think. And they basically just went through anything I'd ever tweeted or favorited that they thought was offensive and warned me, we're not doing this. And it was couched in corporate speak, I'm sure maybe a lawyer or two had looked over it. And so I wrote a really long email and was, firing off all my thoughts. And then I saved it as a draft and I didn't send anything. And I knew then that I was on the clock, if you will. That had come from back during Women's History Month. The company had asked me if I could record a short video of myself talking about the woman who was most inspirational to me for Women's History Month. And I knew immediately, because I had just seen all the stuff she had done, that I wanted it to be Riley Gaines. And the chicken that I am, and don't get me wrong, I love my mom, but I was like, I'll just do my mom, and my mom is inspiring. But I knew deep down that in that moment, I was supposed to talk about Riley. So I did a little self-censorship there. And then, as you know, they did a feature on Leah Thomas for Women's History Month. And that just did something to me. I don't know why, it's kind of emotional to me, but man, there's so many incredible women that have dealt with all the struggles that come that are unique to womanhood. And for the company to basically say, we're going to take that spot, we're going to give it to someone who, by their own admission, has only, quote unquote, become a woman within the last year.
Yes.
I mean, it was Will Thomas on the team the year before. And I'm hearing the stories from these girls who were in the locker room saying, I had to get undressed in front of a fully intact male 18 times a week. And we're a company that cares about, I thought, feminists and girl power, and we've got all these women in positions of power. We're not going to listen to that voice. We're not going to platform that voice to say, hey, man, I'm uncomfortable with this.
Yeah.
We're going to silence those people. So anyway, that was a long version of saying that was sort of the start of all of it. It was in 23. And then last year, in August, when the boxer Olympic situation happened, and the woman that he was boxing came out and said, enough. I just wrote, enough is what we should all be saying.
And on Twitter.
On Twitter. And I knew when I sent that, this isn't going to go over well. But, to me, that's abuse. You have a male in a boxing ring with a female literally beating her.
Yeah. And
we're just supposed to, yay, in the name of inclusion. No, what about her? What about her? And so I sent it, and then the next week I was strangely at a store down the street from our house getting NFL sweats. They had an NFL gear at this store for my son to get the season started, because it was 3 weeks before the season. And I got a text that said, can you jump on a call with this person and this person in an hour? And one of the bosses is someone I never hear from, and I was like, this is it. But I do want to say, to be sure, I do not believe, nor have I ever believed, that I was solely fired for this. I think the model of my career at that point of only working Sundays in the fall on Countdown was not what ESPN wanted, and they felt like they were paying me too much money to do just one thing. And I had turned down opportunities in the past to work more and do more because of the season of life I'm in. Like, I got 3 little kids, and I'm not giving up that time with them for any opportunity. So I had been really clear on my boundaries with work. So I really don't think me losing my job was solely because of that, but the timing of it almost certainly was. And I was told after the fact, privately, that most people at the top of the company did agree with me on this issue, but that there is
the trans issue.
Yes, but that there is a loud activist group at Disney, and they were not happy with me. So I can say all that and tell this, part of the story and still say to you, Sage, like, it's one of the best things that ever happened to me. Like, I was on that hamster wheel, and I was not going to jump off on my own. I needed to get kicked off. So as much as the part of the reasoning behind it, I think, is legit crazy, I feel no bitterness or even, frankly, sadness. Like, I had a great career. Like, I was 20 years in that business. I met some awesome people, and there are still some really great people there.
Yes.
Never thought this would kind of be the way out, but I should have spoken up a long time before. I should have been a lot more courageous when I knew what was right. It's been one of the struggles of my life, is like when you know something's right and you just kind of wait, like, oh, maybe there'll be a better time or it'll feel easier. No, it still feels scary. I feel scary right now. I'm like talking to one of my best friends, I'm like sweating, because I'm not used to talking about anything outside of sports. You are trained in that company, especially certain people. You are not allowed to speak about any other issue. You're not allowed to go on other shows. You're not just stick to the script, and the script is sports, and I did that. I wanted to do that. Like, I that was my world. All I knew was sports. Like that. But I thought this was sports. We're talking about female collegiate athletes, Olympic athletes, and it's wrong to shine a spotlight on that and give another voice, another opinion. I wasn't against debate or healthy discussion. I just didn't want anybody telling me, like, no, you can't talk about that. Yeah. You can't. And I wasn't even really giving my own opinions about it as much as I was saying, listen to these girls. They're in the locker rooms. Why did their opinions not deserve a platform when we're giving awards for Women's History Month to someone born male? I couldn't understand it. I still don't understand it.
It's science. It's DNA, it's biology, it's all the things that actually go way over our heads for the most part. This is something that I thought we all agreed on, and actually most do. It depends on which poll, but it's 80% plus of Americans believe that this is ridiculous and that biological men, boys, I don't even like to say biological because that qualifies it. Men and boys do not belong in women and girls sports. It's period. And everybody for the most part agrees with it. And if they don't agree with it, I don't believe they're being honest with themselves or anyone else. And that's fine. That's for them to deal with. In the meantime, you were standing up for women. You were doing what we were, first of all, drawn to do as women who have been in a man's world and lived in a man's world. And like, we know what it feels like to be the only woman in the locker room or to be the only woman on the set or a part of the production team. And we've talked about this a million times. Like, we're here to help uplift, especially because we know what it's like when you're not, when you're kind of left down there. And we went to the ESPNW summit the one time that you got invited there, right?
That was a one-time invite.
One and done, right? I mean, I was there from day one with that, just because I was there, from the beginning helping with it. And that's all it was about women and uplifting and supporting and promoting and how do we get more WNBA highlights on SportsCenter, like all these things. So I think we both thought, I know I'm not speaking for you, but I mean, in our conversations over the years, like we both thought we got to be voices. We have these platforms that, yes, we worked hard, but God has given us these platforms that what a shame if we don't use them for the most important things, not just football and basketball and baseball, right?
Yeah.
I literally didn't think I was doing anything wrong at the beginning. I don't feel like you did either. Thought that you were doing something wrong. It was like, no, these girls need help and we have a voice.
In the sports world, it was just so obvious. Like, I grew up, especially around my dad's a coach, coached all boys for the most part. And like these are observable truths. These aren't things that when people are like, we need more research. I'm like, do we though? Because like we have eyes. Like we can see the differences. I have a son. Like these are my I've lived with a professional athlete now for 12 years. We are built differently in so many ways, and those differences should be celebrated.
Yes.
They do not mean inequality. We are equal in value, but we are built different. And I believe, since the beginning of time, we've all just agreed on these observable truths. And then suddenly we are told, don't believe your lying eyes. Doesn't matter what you see. And frankly, girls, it doesn't matter what you feel, because those girls at Penn were going to the athletic administration and saying, I'm uncomfortable with this. And they were told, you need therapy.
Yeah.
We'll send you to therapy. We're gonna fix the way you're thinking and feeling. Instead of, yeah, I could see how, someone born female wouldn't want to get dressed in front of someone male. Yeah. It almost feels ridiculous to say.
It does.
The fact that we're still discussing this, and I understand why, because it's so prevalent and we are losing medals, and they went from the this isn't happening to now it's like it's just a few people, and then it became like hundreds and hundreds, maybe even into the thousands now, and now it's like it doesn't matter. It's why do you care? Why do you care, Sage? Like it's instead of let's just have the debate over what's true, and have that in the public square. That's what I was so upset about with what ESPN was telling me, was you can't even have the debate. Like, you don't get a say on this. And I thought, this is kind of in my lane. Like, this is girls in sports. I'm no swimming expert, but I could talk about girls in sports. That feels like that's something that's connected to what I've done for 20 years. And when I was told basically you can't talk about that, like, shoot, then what can I talk about? Like if I can't talk about something that's that connected to the world that we're living in, and I'm seeing these girls and talking to them privately and hearing their stories, that's when I knew like this is the beginning of the end, because we were so misaligned. And where I feel shame is I should have just right then been like, then I'm done. But Sage, the money, the attention, the life I had created for myself that I did not even realize at the time, my identity was so tied up in public opinion. And we had a job that depended on public opinion. When you have a job that depends on public opinion, it was really hard to figure out who I was, because I was constantly trying to manage expectations of like, how will people perceive this? I started on game day when I was 26, and you're like thrown up there, not thrown, obviously willingly up there in front of thousands of frat boys behind you and millions of people on TV. Try like developing a sense of self outside of that at 26. Some can do it. I struggled. Like mine was totally, without me even realizing, this was all subconscious. It was so tied to the applause and the, oh, she's this and she's that. And so when something came to a head and I knew like this is wrong, but it threatened my actual identity. I mean, I say that with shame, but like the feeling of, oh, I have an important job and people compliment me, and I chickened out and I shut up and I went through another season, and Countdown was great. I mean, we had, even according to our bosses who gave us reviews, like ratings were up. We were up in the demo, like we were getting young people and women to watch. Left the Super Bowl in Vegas, like, all right, that was a great year. And I don't know, I guess the only way to put it is like sold out. Like it was great money, and it was the career I had built for myself over 20 years. And I was willing to kind of push it a little bit. But when it really came down to it, I was like, all right, let's just keep it moving along here. And I do regret that. I look back, and the money I made in that extra year, can't bring me peace now about those decisions. Money can always be made. again. Or maybe it can't. Maybe I never make money like that again. And so be it. Like, I serve the same God that I was struggling to serve in that world. I would say I'm serving him better now than I ever was, because I see the truth of who I was becoming. And I have so much regret. But so that's why I'm grateful. That's why I'm so grateful that this happened, because I'm so glad it happened now and not when I was 65. And I'm like, man, I waste my life.
Yeah.
You know, like I didn't do the good I knew to do. Like I just kind of kept pushing it down. And the person I was becoming, it was just chipping away on a million different issues, not just about this. But that's why I'm so grateful. I'm like, I needed to get kicked off that hamster wheel and forced into a quieter, slower life. My husband laughs because I'm always like, you realize you need to make up some compliments here. I'm not hearing anything nice anymore. Like, can you say something to me today? Yes. But it's so good. It is so good for me, Sage, to have all that stripped away, to find out who I really am and what I really care about, and to try and rebuild that sense of self on a firm foundation. I was living on sand. And when it went away, like literally, it's just all gone. It's like the water coming up over your sandcastle. It's gone like that. And I'm so glad that it's gone.
I have 65 questions on that topic alone.
Sorry. Can you tell I haven't been talking a lot? I'm going to get it all out right now.
And I am here. Are the batteries charged, David? Make sure. Or plugged in or
She's
something.
Like, and question 2.
No. Like, this is the most important part, what you just said, and especially because I have the honor and privilege of knowing your family and knowing your husband and knowing your babies and knowing your parents a little bit too, and seeing the evolution of you over the last year since you got fired, just to get to the point where you are so sure of what you're saying now about the shame. And oh my gosh, we have a lot of that in common. So I think that's what I hope to be the biggest takeaway for people from this conversation is what you have done over the last year and who you are and the wins and all that you've learned about yourself as a woman, as a mother, as a wife, as a friend, like all these things. So hold that thought, please. What does matter is how it happened, because to me, the way it went down actually helped get you to where you are today, because it was so shocking, so out of the blue, the shortest, most awkward phone call, right? Like awkward?
Awkward to who? Not
okay, good point. That was on August. It was August 15th?
15th, yeah. Yeah, I got on the phone and I kind of knew, when you get that text that's like, you're talking to the boss you never talk to.
Who maybe knows our name, right?
Yeah, maybe. At that point, I'm like, I sent a text actually to my husband that just said, I'm getting fired today. And
he probably thought you were like, don't tweet it. Yeah. Don't do it.
Yes, yes, for sure. But so when I picked up the phone, to be fair to them, I had like 45 minutes. I walked home from the store I was at, which was like maybe a 40-minute walk, just because I was like, I need to get my mind right for this. What am I going to say? And so I pick up the phone, and this is the bad in me, Sage. I put a little extra on it. I was like, hey guys, how's it going? Like, how's your day going? They're like, oh, good. We're doing all right. How are you doing? I'm like, I'm doing amazing. I'm wrong for that. I'm sorry. But
no, sorry, not sorry.
But then, they get into my dad's an attorney, so I'm used to the legalese of it all. And clearly they had gotten out the script and started reading to me, this has nothing to do with performance. We will no longer be using your services. And I didn't plan to say this. It just came out. I was like, okay. And then silence. Long silence. I was like, I'm going to hang there for a little bit. Like, all right. Well, if you need information, reach out to this attorney. I was like, okay, have a nice day. Bye, guys. It was like that. Then it was over. And I think I thought, because I'm a middle of the road emotional person, like something sad, I'll cry. I didn't shed a tear. The only time I cried, and the whole time after, because it was like, wow, 20 years of a career is gone. The only time I cried was when I called my mom, and I cried because I told her, man, I was so disobedient. The person I was becoming, the materialism, the everything's about me. And you wouldn't have necessarily noticed it from the outside, like, but I knew on the inside. People tell you all these nice things, and you know, people are always like patting you on the back, and you hear a lot of bad stuff too, but like, you know, it was addicting. It was like,
it is.
People are just constantly like, oh, you're inspiring me. I'm like, if you only knew. Like, you know, my marriage was a mess. My sense of self was so tied to like what people would say about me, and, you know, presenting myself in a certain way. Like, yeah, I was losing my soul. And so yeah, that phone call could be super short and me like, okay. And that's why I cried to my mom, because I knew, like, man, here we go again. Like, God's been so faithful to me when I have been so unfaithful. Like, I knew what he was telling me, and I was running. Like, I was like Jonah, like running the opposite direction of Nineveh. Like, I'm not trying to be there. I don't want to be a nobody, you know, like I don't want to just be regular, even though like I come from a long line of awesome regular people, you know? But I don't know. I guess I just thought I could do it my own way. And newsflash, since the beginning of time, like, it doesn't go well when we try and do it on our own, you know, and we know we're doing the wrong thing. So anyway,
You used the word discipline, and that you felt you were being disciplined
by
God in this moment.
Yeah.
The firing.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think about it with my kids. Like, the Bible talks about, like, God disciplines those he loves. And that's the same with me and my kids. Like, man, it's hard. It takes, like, you got to be dialed in to real discipline, not like anger, you know, with your kids, but like real meaningful discipline is a sign of love. And so I took this as like, but like, oh, he still cares. You know, like, he still cares. And I've turned my back. I've run the other way so many times. Like, he still cares enough to discipline me here. Took it all away. Like that, it's gone. And I'm so grateful for that, because it makes you feel closer. Like, I went through a bunch of health issues after this. I think my body, you know this, when your body's like running for 20 years and then it slows down. I didn't even realize how stressed I'd been for 20 years. And my body like went into shock. So I had a bunch of different health issues, and it was pretty scary. And there was one day I was waiting on some test results, and it had gone bad so far. And I'm telling you, I am not one of those people that's like, God said this and I heard this. I'm usually like, that sounds like my dad, or you know, put it on something else. And I heard clearly in my spirit, I heard, I am with you. You are not alone. Oh. And I had felt so alone. Like, because what happens is when you climb the ladder, you get to this like mountaintop. It's all relative. I know this world, you know, sports thing is not a big deal. But in that world, you get to this like mountaintop success, man, it is isolating. Because a lot of people, when they reach out, they want something, you know, or want like you to do something for them or whatever. And then a lot of people do you wrong. You get like used and all sorts of stuff that does make you jaded. And I had been really isolated. So I was already isolated. Then this happens. It all goes away. Man, I felt so alone. And then my body's shutting down and like having health problems. And to hear so clear, like nobody can tell me that wasn't God. I am 100% certain. And I didn't have my results yet. And it brought such a peace over me that was like, even if the news is bad, even if I know I'm not alone, which is really that was my fear. I was afraid of being alone. So I don't know. I'm giving like way too long-winded answers, but I'm so grateful for that discipline. It makes me feel loved. I hope I don't have to keep going through it. Like, I would like for once in my life to not have to learn the hard way. Man, I was that kid, like, just had to learn the hard way. Thought I could do it myself, and like Miss Independent. Grew up in the like, you go girl generation. And God was like, no, you're not going anywhere. You're going to sit. You're going to homeschool 3 kids. Never thought in a million years I'd be doing that. And you're going to do a lot of listening. You're going to shut up, which is why I'm talking so much right now, because I've got all this, like, I've been shutting up a lot over the last year, but it's been good.
What did your mom say to you in that moment?
You know, my mom, I told you this walking in here, my mom in my career, like, she was always really proud of me, but I think she was always, like, most concerned about, like, real me. You know, I'm so lucky. I had parents who lived with purpose my whole life. Like, not to make money or to, like, have a cool job or buy us stuff. Like, they lived on purpose since I was born. And so their perspective has always been like, okay, that's cool if God, like, brought you that thing, but what's really going on? Like, what's really going on in here? And I think they knew. I mean, they know I'm hard-headed, and I was the girl who, like, met a guy and married him 3 months later, and I was, like, traveling all over the world. They didn't even know I was out of the country when I was in college and stuff, so they knew I was crazy already. But but I think, like, my mom definitely cried with me, but I think it was more of a, like, what's going on in here? I don't care about your job. Like, my parents, I didn't grow up in a family that valued any of that world. And if anything, kind of devalued it to the point where I was like, clap for me. Like, please tell me I'm doing good. But yeah, it's just been all love. Like, I didn't feel a single twinge of, like, disappointment or any of that. I mean, my mom has been a huge supporter of helping me homeschool my kids. And she was the one traveling with me with Scout, my oldest, when she traveled with me on college game day. She was on over 100 flights in the first year. My mom was with me. It was the only way I could do it. So she's been there through this whole journey. And I think she knew. I was late.
They usually do. And while they're so proud of us, I think, just like we're proud of our kids now, you know, for tying their shoes, finishing their dinner. That doesn't end when their daughter is hosting one of the biggest shows in the history of television and leading the way as a woman in a man's world and doing it, right? Disciplined in so many ways where you weren't when you were that wild child, apparently.
Sure.
But that's the beauty of them, of our mothers, that they see it, they're so proud, and they see the pain. And they see when we're off.
Yeah.
They're probably the only ones that we can truly receive that from too, receive the discipline and the, are you going to stop now, Sage?
Yeah.
Are you going to, like, stop and listen? You're going to continue to go down this path because at some point you're only blaming, like, you only have yourself to blame.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I just put myself in that room with you at that moment. And first of all, want to, like, hug you again because, listen, your humility with this is beautiful. And we can have that and also mourn the loss of what was a beautiful career. And there's still a lot more to come with Samantha Ponder. That's my gut. Right? Like, both can exist. We can be learning and growing and also be sad.
Yeah.
And like, gosh, was all that for nothing? And we know that that's not the case. But because of the way things sometimes are handled, it's like, gosh, I thought we were friends. I thought we were teammates. I thought we, like, I think that's the part maybe that I've struggled with a lot, and I've shared that with you. And, you know, I was pissed at the way they did that with you. Like, where's the human element in this? And I think that's what I also want people to take. Like, we can be hard on each other, and if you're a leader and a boss and fire people,
yeah, sure,
the way you do things does matter. We can't control that, but it does. And how do we get over that? And maybe you are. I don't know if you need this. I need this.
I always.
Where are you in that process? Are you just like, fine, whatever? Like,
I'm probably pretty cynical about corporate culture.
Yeah.
So I don't think it shocked me. It felt a little weird that, like, they never said anything publicly. They leaked it because I never said anything. I disappeared. Like I hadn't done anything.
Totally disappeared off the face of the earth.
I needed to disappear. Because that first week, my email was like scary. Like, come on this. Because of course it was like, and people want you to be mad. And I get it. Like I understand that there were some really kind people too who were mad for me. And let me just say first and foremost, like the only reason I'm here, like talking with you about this is because now I am gonna cry. You have been such a loyal friend to me. Gosh. When it felt like nobody. And I don't blame him. I get the fear. Oh my gosh, I get the fear. I get that feeling of like, I had some people who I will never name, very prominent people, say to me, like, we all agree with you, but like, I can't lose my job. And I get that.
I do too.
I get that. So I have no like bitterness, but my mom sent me the video you posted after I got fired, which I don't know if people know this, but like, it's not like you like said, hey, Sam, I'm going to post this video, or like, do you want me to do this? Like you on your own, to no benefit to yourself, made a video like just loving on me publicly in a way that like literally like brought me to my knees. And you had done it before. I had been in some messes publicly before, and I had never asked you. But Sage, you've always gone first.
This show is not about me, okay?
No, hold on.
This is not.
Hold on, because this is the only reason I'm here. I'm not just trying to, like, be out there talking and, like, going around sharing all my like, who cares? The reason I'm here is because I want people to know, like, this is the kind of friend you need. Because even when, like, we had a lot going on, you had a lot going on in your own life that you easily could have just been like, where's her video for me? You know, like, that's how a lot of people operate. And, man, you are such a loyal friend. And the courage, I mean, I was a year behind you. In even an ounce of courage. Like, you went first. People do not know. In this type of corporate world, the person who goes first, oh my gosh, we have to lift up these people, because nobody knows but you. And I've got like a small taste of it, but nobody knows but you how hard and how lonely it is to go first. And that is who you are. I mean, you were raised that way, like, God bless your parents, but you had to choose to go first when, like, really no one was doing it. And that gave me, like, just enough. I always tell people, like, when you get that, like, jolt of courage, go then. Because it will not last.
You have to go.
And I always would, I would get that little jolt, and then I would, like, go back into my turtle shell. And you didn't. Wow. You didn't. And it's the reason I'm here. It's the reason I will love you for the rest of my life. Because the people that stick their neck out for you when none of it benefits them, like, you were getting nothing out of that, if anything, like, negative, those are your real friends. Not the people. I got a lot, and I know you know this, I got a lot of private messages, a lot, and some really nice ones, like, from, like, very prominent people, where I was like, oh, you know, it gives you that, like, oh, that feels good. What you did's different.
I wish I'd put makeup on that day when I did that video, because it got around. No, first of all, I love you, period. End of story. I don't care what happens in the future. You are so stuck with me. And I'm so grateful for the Scripps National Spelling Bee in 2011, right? I'm so grateful. And that's why I think we both have such gratitude toward ESPN.
Yes.
For every moment, good, bad, ugly,
Totally.
more good than bad, honestly.
Yes.
We both have that gratitude. And because of what came of it, yes, some success and, okay, some nice savings maybe for the future for our children. But, like, this, because what I have found as I've gotten older is, man, that circle is small.
Yeah.
And it is shrinking by the day, it seems like. I've also found that as painful as that can be, it's easier. Because I'm not very good with my time and my communication skills right now. Never was, but now it's like totally exposed because I don't have the structure of SportsCenter every day. And now I'm like, oh my gosh, I have no idea what tomorrow is. And I should, because people are depending on me.
Yeah.
But like, all we have are our people. And yes, it's lonely. And once you've experienced that feeling of loneliness, like, I want to make sure the people that I love don't feel it as much. We can't prevent it from happening to each other.
Yeah.
But we can be there when it does go dark. And it gets really freaking dark.
But that's a choice, because you could have just been angry. You know, you could have just been angry that people didn't do that for you. And instead,
there's some anger there. I'm going to be honest.
But that's not what won.
Not at you. I know that, like, obviously.
You decided we can hold multiple feelings at the same time. You decided, like, no, I'm not going to pass that on. I'm not going to pass on what was done to me, which, like, talk about things that could change the world if other people did. If we didn't pass on our own, wrongs to other people, like, you didn't do that.
Well, you are worth it, and you strengthened me in so many ways that you don't realize either. And I think being a mother in this industry and a young mother, and you're having babies on national TV. Mine were when I got to ESPN, they were 11 months, 2 and 4 when I started there. And either way, it's just a big, and then you're in survival mode. And this is in 2007 when it was
different vibe.
Very different vibe. Better in some ways, but like not in others that we don't need to go into now. But like, you're in survival mode. And I remember starting off there, and there were a couple women in particular who'd been there for a long time on air. And I was like, worshipped them. Yeah. And was so excited to meet them. And they were, both of these 2 women in particular were moms. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh gosh, they're a little ahead of me. Their kids are a little older. Maybe they can offer me something, because I'm coming in here, dream job. My whole life was to get to ESPN, and I did it. And I have my babies, and I'm so grateful for all of it. And oh my gosh, how do I do it all? And I was so excited to talk to them and get some advice and to learn from them. That's what we do for women, I thought, right? Yeah. And it was like, yep. I was like, oh gosh. And I remembered, you can ask my mom when you're at the wedding. Ask my mom. Like, I remember saying to her, both my parents, the next woman that comes to ESPN, I'm going to make sure, like, it makes me, I'm going to make sure she does not feel the way I do, because this sucks. Yeah. And I'm like, this isn't how it's supposed to be. Women preach about uplifting others and screw the guys and the glass ceiling. But how about we look in the mirror first? If we're not helping each other, how can we point the finger at the men? And I promised then that I would not let others feel that way. I wasn't always successful with it. I didn't always have people wanting to receive that. Sure. Right? Because it's competitive. And the women are like clawing at each other's backs at that place, right? And so, I don't know. I thank you for saying that, Sam, but like, that is our job. And if I want my daughters to do that for their friends too, then don't I have to lead that way? Yeah. We all do. You do that with your daughters and your son, of course, but with your girls too. Like, that's all that we have, because we say it, words versus actions.
Yeah, well, it flows from security, and I think, because I've experienced some of the same things you're talking about, when you look at those people, that's why now I can look back with such compassion, because like, that came from such a place of insecurity. It was one of my fears about staying in TV for a long time. One, I didn't want to age on TV. Like, so hard. It looks terrible. Not the people looking terrible, but like the process of aging on television.
Remember when we were on The View and the filter that they had for Barbara Walters and everybody? I'm like, I would give my right arm for that filter. Where is it?
Talking about our time on The View is a whole nother podcast.
Another podcast.
Part two. It is. Yes. My goodness. That is called unprocessed trauma. Right. But no, I think that the ability to do what you're talking about, to not pass that on to younger women coming up, only comes from a sense of security where like this young, hot, cool girl coming up isn't a threat.
Right.
Right. Where it's like, no, this is the circle of life, if you will. This is how it works. You know, like a company like that is always going to, for one, be going for the younger, hotter, cheaper. Like, this is a business. Can we just be honest about how these things work? And I took advantage of the opportunities I was given, you know, at 25 and 26. I wasn't like, no, someone more experienced and seasoned should have this position. Like, of course, I was like, sweet, this is amazing. So I think there's some of that understanding that goes to it, but also you can only be compassionate and kind from that position if you're secure in who you are. And look, this industry, it's worldwide. This is universal, but this industry is a cesspool of insecure people trying to, I can say this because I was one of them. I'm not putting that on other people. Trying to get like, tell me I'm enough. Somebody tell me I'm good enough. I'm smart enough. I'm pretty enough. Like, tell me all the things so that I can feel puffed up enough to finally be okay. And let me know when you find one of those people who is finally okay from that. Like, it doesn't work. You just stay on that hamster wheel forever. So what you were able to recognize was that, like, that feeling that somebody passed down to me, like, really, that was just about them.
It was.
You know, that wasn't about you. You came in like excited, beautiful, happy, talented, through the roof. Like, how could you not see that and be like, awesome, good for her? Well, if it's a threat to what gives you identity, then that's terrifying.
You're so
you were
right.
terrifying to a lot of those women. And I could see why they felt that way.
Well, and you experienced it to degrees that you probably will never talk about publicly. Like, again, we need like 8 podcasts to get through. Each one is a show. And at some point, yes, my mother, and it happened in 2007 when I started there and went on my first couple of sports centers, and then these women in particular. And I remember one of them did something on the air that I had people text me later, like, what was that? And I was like, I don't know. I'm so sad. Like, I always looked up to her. Like, I don't understand. And I got in the car to drive home and I called my mom because that's what we do.
That's what we do.
And my mom said that. She goes, Sage, okay, not nice, whatever. Fact. She saw it. She watched it. And then she said, you know this has nothing to do with you, right? And I was like, what are you talking about? Yeah. She directed it at me. The producers even got me. Were like, are you okay? Yeah. You know? And of course, listen, if that happened a couple years later, we would have had a live TV fight. I was weak and scared then and whatever, probably better. But like, my mom was right. It isn't about us. It's about their own insecurities. And so that is why we can have grace and some forgiveness, I think, in those moments. And okay, so all right, I can't control. I can continue to be nice. Yeah. I can come in and do a kick butt job every Sunday. Every time I have that microphone in my hand, college game day. That's all we can really control. And I think when we come to a piece, not just in TV, in any industry, you're going to have it. So do you choose to receive that? Because I was receiving it and I took it in. And then my confidence, along with being really, I'm not going to say terrible, but I'm going to say not good and not confident those first several years at ESPN.
Oh, same. Yeah.
Like, so then it all goes like this.
Yeah.
Because we are allowing our hearts and our souls to receive that negativity, right?
And also not seeing, I mean, what's really helped me and scared me is trying to put myself in that position. Like, in this industry, I was always thinking, like, what's the exit? You know, like, let's say everything goes great. Like, how am I seeing this going towards the end? And I started to look around and seeing the women who were, 20 years down the road for me, and it wasn't ending well. Like, it wasn't, there was so much, I mean, you could see it in the makeup room. I know you know this. A lot of, like, looking over there, like, what's going on with just, like, and for women, there's a whole different element when it comes to body image and all that on television that is a mess.
Yes.
Especially in this day and age, because you can try and hang on for dear life in a lot of different ways, and trying to look forward and thinking, like, okay, why are they acting that way? Like, what is their fear? A lot of women, and you know this, sacrificed a family.
Yes.
Some who had a family and some who put that off because of the job, and the things that come with that as you get older, the regrets and the fears, and so trying to have compassion for women, some of whom were told a lie. Like, first of all, the whole, like, you can have it all. Like, no, like, somebody's got to raise the kids, you know? Like, you're either paying for it or doing it yourself. And there are real choices and sacrifices to be made. I'm a believer that you can have it all over the course of a life. You can't have it all at the same time.
At the same time, no.
Like, I tried to do that first couple of years on game day, and I was like, what? I don't even know my name right now. Like, where am I? And the women who were lied to about, like, oh, you know, you can wait, you can have a family later, like, have this amazing career, like, oh, you know, girl boss. And we were the, like, you go girl generation, you can do it all. And then you have friends in the industry that get to that point where it's like, shoot, like, did I sacrifice a family that I would know and love my entire life for a 10-year career? Did I? You know, the pain and the fear that comes with that is so deep. So, yeah, there's a lot of, I totally get the anger part because it is hard, especially when you're young coming in. And I look back, I'm like, man, did I do enough to encourage some of these young girls? My head was spinning most of the time. So I don't think I was, like, mean to anybody, but I think I could have done a better job at, like, spending time. I just felt like I didn't have time to give. It was like any moment away, I got to spend with my husband or my kids because, oh my gosh, like, I am so frazzled all the time. We were talking about this week. Like, my brain is so scattered from just being on all the time and trying to look a certain way and make sure you say the right things and, oh, don't say that, and live TV for 3 hours. It's just, I don't know. It gives me a lot more compassion about even there were some mean people when you're coming up, because I do think it comes from a place of fear and deep insecurity.
Mm-hmm. What do you miss?
I miss my friends, like, but I say that, like, we were just, you know, on a pontoon with Rex all week. So, you know, the people that you know what I miss? I miss the friends that you just see casually. They may not be, like, your closest friends, like people like Rex and you that have become like family to me. Of course, you're going to make time to see them. You're going to vacation. You're going to do whatever. But just, like, you know, some of my guys that were around all the time, that were behind the scenes, that you get so used to seeing. That was the hard thing about the timing of everything. I didn't get to say goodbye to anybody.
Yeah.
Because we left the Super Bowl, like, high-fiving. Like, everyone was like, oh, that was a great year. And
you had a full year left on your contract? That last season left.
Yeah, I had a year left. Yeah, and so it was, I mean, maybe they lied to me. I don't think they did. But, like, the guys that I worked with behind the scenes, they were all shocked, too. And so I was supposed to have a meeting with our producers in the city the next day. And they got a call from a boss that said, like, you can't go down to the city for the meeting. So it got canceled the day before. And I'm like, that's weird. I mean, now, obviously, it all makes sense. But so I didn't get to say goodbye to anybody. And you know this, like, any job. I don't care if you're cleaning up trash or you're talking on TV or you're, you know, working for the president. If you're not working around good people, it's either miserable, or if you're working around great people, a bad job can be awesome. Yeah. Like, I had some bad jobs in my life, but when I was with friends or, like, people I loved, you know, those are great memories. So I lucked out. The college game day crew that I was with, like, those guys were like family. I mean, I have so much gratitude for how they treated me and the way they were, like, holding Scout in commercial breaks as I'm trying to make all this work, and never once, I mean, maybe behind the scenes, I don't know, never once complained or were like, hey, we hired a, like, 24-year-old single girl and suddenly she's married with a kid on her hip. Like, this is not kind of what we were going for. Like, they loved on me and my family. And then the Countdown crew, I mean, that was what was special about that show, in my opinion, is, like, we would just hang around each other when things were over.
Yeah.
Like, the best moments of that show were in the commercial breaks, you know, like, we all, I mean, I will never forget going into a shoe store, a very fancy shoe store with Rex Ryan, Randy Moss. I think Adam Schefter might have been there with us, Teddy Bruschi, like, these, like, 5 guys and me going in to pick out some shoes for someone's wife. They were just crazy things. We were just hanging out together all the time. It was a really special group. So I miss that. And then I miss being at games, which was the hardest thing about Countdown for me, because I grew up in the game day world. where you're at games, you're like feeling the energy of fans, you're out there at the tailgates. That is what I love. Like that was really special. It was so special that the first couple of years I was off of College Game Day, even though it was the right decision, I needed to settle down and be in one place. I could not travel 5 days a week with multiple kids, but I couldn't watch the show.
Yeah, it hurt.
I literally, this is how ridiculous and stupid I am. I like unfollowed College Game Day on social media. I'm like, I can't see it. I can't see it because it was just so, man, I love that show and those guys, and it was such a great
and they're
experience.
Still friends. I mean,
but
you're still friends.
Sure, yeah. I mean, yeah, I got a master class in TV from those guys. First with Chris Fowler and then Reese Davis, like watching the way they prepare, being with Herbie and Pollock, who was like the brother I never wanted. Exactly. Just one of my favorite people on earth. And, you know, Herbie and the support I got from him and the kindness of Des, and like, man, it was hard to leave those people, but it was the right thing. So, yeah, I miss a lot of, there's so much good. That's why I'm not mad. Like this has all been a part of the process, but like we talked about, it's like holding two things, you know, you can say what this is what, if I could go back, I would tell myself, like, show love to people, show gratitude, like be grateful, be kind, all those things, and say what's true. That's where I felt like you either, if I say what's true, then I'm mean. You know, nobody wants to be mean. And no, you can say what's true. Sometimes telling the truth, I would say probably almost all the time, telling the truth with kindness. Like, that's the most loving thing you can do. But I always felt like, I got to shut up. I can't say anything. I can't, you know. And I look back and I'm like, that wasn't kind. That was me being scared. But I don't know. I miss a lot.
Gosh, I feel like you're so hard on yourself.
I mean, there is a lot to be hard on. Like, I'm fine. I'm not like, I don't ruminate on the bad things. I don't like sit in it, but I can acknowledge it. Like, I mess some stuff up. That's all right. I'm trying to get better.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know that there's ever sometimes I feel like we're want to be professional athletes for sure. And when they retire from the game, there's a whole transition process. And they have people within the NFL community. Each team has people that helps with the transition, whether it's financial or whatever, because you go from those screaming stadiums of 80,000 people to nothing. And you're married to a professional athlete, right? And we see how difficult the transition can be. We are certainly down several levels. But when you have that public spotlight and then it's just gone. Yeah. That is an adjustment too.
Yeah.
I actually, and so you've been very open about that and vulnerable about that. Like, I do think there's something that I miss about it, but not nearly as much as I thought. How are you with that part?
Yeah.
Because by the way, we were told 10, 15 years ago, get on Twitter, go do these things, get your brand out there because it helps ESPN. And then it was like, oh, can you stop?
But not like that. Don't say that.
Don't say that, but you can say this, right? It's all these confusing messages. But in the meantime, for the last 10, 15 years, that is part of it. And there's no way that doesn't impact, our everyday and how we feel about ourselves.
And you can't know, in my opinion, you can't know to the extent that it does impact you until it's taken away.
Yes. Exactly.
Because if I was on the same kind of podcast last summer, I think it's not, a lot of this stuff was subconscious. Like, I didn't realize how much I relied. But I was in this industry since I was 18, especially since my early 20s, people are just constantly like, oh, good job, because we value so much anybody who's on a screen, like we value that. I still don't fully understand why, but we do as a society. Like, if someone's on TV, I remember as a kid, like if I saw the local weather guy downtown at a D-backs game, I was like, wow, like it was so amazing to see someone from TV in real life. And so I get it, but we kind of create the monsters that we hate. Like we prop these people up on TV all the time, and we're constantly like, acting like there would be people on College Game Day. And I don't say this with any sort of I hope this doesn't sound demeaning at all. This is just how it was. They would come up and ask for a picture, grown men, like in their 50s. They would be shaking like crazy. I mean, I'm talking about my first year. They didn't even know who I was. Like, I was just on the show. So it was like the excitement level about anybody who's in that position is so extreme that you can't help but be impacted by that. Because I'm over here like, does he know? Like, I haven't done anything with my life. Like, I just got thrown into this. Like, I don't know anybody cool. I'm like, I'm shaking myself. I can't believe I'm here. There was so much of that. And then you put that over 14, 15 years. And you don't even realize how much you start to feel like you are a little different. You are a little special. You do, like that. But we kind of create that. And I should have done a better job at the time at like fighting that in myself and keeping myself more accountable. I think that's where the isolation comes in, because you start to only be surrounded by other people like that. Like, I grew up real regular, like I should have spent more time around the people I was around earlier in my life, because you start to get to the point where the people you're vacationing with and combine that with Christian's world too, where he's coming from pro sports. Like, all of a sudden you're just around people who are living that same lifestyle and in that world. And it does change you. I'll speak for myself. It did change me, but not in ways that I necessarily recognized at the time. So then when it was all taken away, and like, we live in New York City, so even more on top of that, like, they don't care about Tom Cruise walking down the street there. It's like, oh, whatever.
Yes.
So nobody cares about me. That's for sure. In some ways it was like, holy crap, I didn't realize how much I relied on that. And simultaneously, oh, thank God. like I felt like, I explained it to someone the other day, I felt like I could sit down on the inside. I had just been standing up like at attention for so long, like, don't say the wrong thing, you better look this way, and and it felt like on the inside I was like, oh, we can sit now. Now my audience was the harshest critics I've ever had in my life. These 3 little kids who are like, you are the worst teacher ever. But it was exactly what I needed, and I'm so glad I just shut up. Like, there's always going to be a time to talk about things, but like, for that first 9 months, I just shut up, and I took on the humility, and it was good. It wasn't scary. I had a friend who's considering getting out of this industry recently call me, and they said, like, what's it like when it all goes away? Like, does it all go away? And I was like, oh yeah, right away. it's gone. Like, that world. And then I told him, like, but I'm okay.
Oh my gosh, yes. More than okay.
Yeah. Like, it's actually empowering, because I'm like, oh, you didn't actually give me real value. You gave me temporary value. And like, thanks for that. Like, appreciate the opportunity. And I gained a lot from that. But you didn't give me anything that lasts. Like, I went to, part of me doesn't even know if I should share this, because I don't know but I think it's important. I went to Chris Mortensen's funeral. Mort was a good friend of me and a good man. As you know, there are some people in this industry, that are like good to the core. He was one of them.
The best. Yeah.
The best. Gave me so much crap, and I loved him for that. That's usually how I can tell, like, if they're willing to be like, I'll never forget when he was like, your hair looks terrible. I was like, that's Mort. But we just connected. I mean, he loved the Lord, loved his family. Did. And I went out to Arkansas. You were there, obviously, for his funeral. And I don't know if you got the same impression, but I was just struck by the number of executives who weren't there.
I know.
And there were the people who were there, I was like, yes. I like went down the line, and there were some people that I was like, yeah, those are the people who would show up.
Yeah.
But there were some, I don't know everyone's story or excuse, but from my perspective, like, that man gave so much to that company. And it was a good reminder to me, like, this, when you work for a company like that, there is a sense of like, wow, this is cool, and this is big, and this is, but like, when things get really tough, you find out if the investment that you've made has a good return. And sometimes I think I know I'll speak for myself. Like, I was investing in something with no return. Like, yeah, you get an immediate check, and that's great. Like, I'm not downplaying that. But in terms of like long term, that like those people aren't going to be there, and it's not, this is not about more out of any of us just like would have the most,
Yes.
So I'm thinking, man, me compared to him, like Sage will be there, but like that,
You'll be at mine.
that was a big wake up call for me.
I am so glad you brought that up again, because we sat together and went out for coffee before, or smoothie, trying to get breakfast in the middle of nowhere, Arkansas. It's like, how are we going to do this? Mort, you didn't leave us any advice here. Where did we go? And yes, I was sad that a couple of people weren't there, because, and Mort would have been like, it's fine.
No, he wouldn't have cared at all.
For his wife.
Yeah. That's what,
And for his family. And you're so right. It's a brutal reminder. We go back to who's in your circle. Who do you choose to give your energy to when there's not much energy to give?
Yeah.
And how many conversations did we have with him? And you more than me, because you're with him all the time. Yeah. But like, work is what kind of saved his life and prolonged his life when he was battling this cancer. And to be around people and to be able to talk about football and to watch him struggling on that television screen every Sunday. I mean, he inspired me in so many ways, and to do it by leading with his faith.
Yeah.
He was so open. He was so open about it. And those are the people that, like, gosh, how lucky are we that we got to do this for so long, because of the people like Chris Mortensen and the guys on your set for those last few years and game day. Like, there are so many blessings, and it is. You're a year in, I'm almost 2 years in. By the way, Sam got fired exactly 1 year and a day to the day after I settled my lawsuit. Yeah, it was literally. She called me a leader. Here you go.
Led me into the pit of despair.
You definitely should have seen that coming. Oh my gosh. But like, it is a process, and I don't know. I've been so surprised at how much I don't miss.
Yeah.
Like, I thought for sure.
You mean the extreme anxiety and stress? You don't miss that?
Every single day. Like, that's what we talked about the other day out on the lake too. Like, I don't think I realized how tired my brain was.
Oh my gosh.
And when you're doing live TV, and I was doing 4 or 5 days a week. 2 hours. And like 3 kids. And a home, and some personal issues, going through a divorce, and like all these things. And I was like, oh my God, and it's been almost 2 years, I still don't feel healthy.
Yeah.
Mentally healthy. And it scares me, because I'm like, I'm a lot older than you, Sam. I'm like,
way older.
I have
and
a
you
5
look it too.
Front.
You really
I do. Do you
oh
see these
gosh,
dark circles?
She still looks 25.
But like, I
it's so
13
annoying.
years old. Lou, like, once you have a 5 in front of your age, you're like, I'm definitely past the halfway point. Okay. I'm not living to 104. Like, it's not happening. And so, I'm like, I have shame for allowing it for 30 years total to like, I allowed that to take over in some ways. I think I stayed true to myself as a human being, and like my heart, and trying to be a good friend, even though I've not always been a good friend to people. You do your best, and a good daughter, and a good neighbor, and a good room mom for all the kids, because you can't just
you're crazy.
You can't just be a room mom for one. You have to do all 3, or else
of course
you don't love them equally, obviously. But like, why did I abuse my body to that point, and my soul? Like, why do we do that? I do think part of it is women, and this is what we do. And then we are nurturers, and we're caretakers, and I'm proud of that.
Yeah.
But to what end? Where you're killing yourself. Anyway, I am mad at myself for the abuse that I put on my entire being for all those years. And now I'm like, okay, is it too late? Can I fix it? Can I fix it? Can I fix it?
You're talking about like just going too hard, like running yourself ragged type?
And trying to do everything.
Yeah.
And to please everybody. And but physically we can't do that kind of a job.
Yeah.
And be the hands-on mom that we were doing. The point was we were doing it, but like now look, now we're like,
oh yeah, no, it doesn't end well. But maybe this is a cop out, but I think a lot of that is because you look around and that's what everybody else is doing. I mean, I'll never forget when I was offered, and I say this with humility, like it was nice of them to offer this, but like at one point they offered me an additional job that would have been 5 days a week and still doing my weekend job. And I was like, wait, what? Like, we're talking about 7 days a week of live television, multiple hours a day, every day. I'm not saying, like, I'm not working construction. I get it. Like, this is not actually this physically, like, oh, poor me. I'm not saying it like that. But where's I've got 3 kids. Like, who's raising these kids? You know, and every time the example was given was either to a woman who I knew was really struggling with family situation, all that, or to a man who his wife didn't work and was home taking care of the kids.
Yes.
It's a different situation.
Very.
And because it's a culture of yes. And that is like ingrained in you. If you are given an opportunity, you say yes. I cannot tell you how many times I was told, like, this is such a great opportunity, or my favorite one, this is such great exposure. I'm like,
oh my gosh, you're right.
Like, and so you're just in this environment of like grind. And by the way, if you're grinding for like, you know, you work in the military or you do something that's like really bringing something important to the world, okay, that's different, especially for a season. Like, I can see why you would choose to live that way, but like, this is grinding for applause.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, as someone who has received that, it is not worth that because it's never enough. It's not like you get all the applause or you win an award. I mean, I literally got my Emmys taken away and put in a trash bag. That's another story. But like, even when you do get the award, then it's like, when you get the next award? I mean, what they ask Saban every year after he won a national championship, like, all right, what about next year? It's never enough. So you're killing yourself.
Yeah.
Sometimes quite literally. I mean, I had a seizure on a plane to work one time, and I'm like, oh, that's strange. I wonder why. Like, I wonder what happened. I got all these tests done. They're like, we don't know what's going on. And I'm like, yeah, because you're a shell of a person. Your body's like, please help. Drink some water, please. Like, I was destroying myself. But it felt like everybody else was doing that too. So when everyone that you're around is also living this unhealthy lifestyle, and then you mix in the alcohol and the travel and all this stuff, it's a mess. It is a mess. And there are so few examples, I mean, so few, of someone where I'm like, they have a healthy family life. They really take care of their body. They seem very, just like together. In that industry, are you kidding me? In the green room, the stories you hear in the green room of the messes, and I say this with all humility, it was my life too, but the messes that are going on in real life, and then you get on camera and it's like, hey, come be like me. I'll go give speeches, pay me to come speak and tell everybody else how to live. Meanwhile, you're like, your home life is a mess, your body is a mess, you're trying to look a certain way and present a certain thing, and it's a disaster behind the scenes.
I see a difference in you.
Oh, hopefully good.
In a beautiful way, like calm, peace. Like, unfortunately, we didn't live in the same town much. When I was doing NBA in Los Angeles, I lived in Arizona. You were in Arizona most of the time.
Yeah.
Like but this weekend, of course, we're at the lake with Rex Ryan, which you must relax with him. But the way you walk, the way you talk, the way you carry yourself, the way you are with the kids, so chill. And Christian too. Like, how do you feel inside and out today?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know how stressed I was until I got out. But here's the thing. Nobody did this to me. Like, I chose to stay on that, like, tell me I'm pretty, tell me I'm good, like, because I liked that feeling, but it's those short hits of dopamine. And you don't realize how addicted you are to the dopamine until it's away. You almost have to like detox, which is what I did. Homeschooling will do that to you. I was like an extreme detox. I'm just going to be with these 3 kids all day, every day. And yeah, I do feel, look, the thing I've learned is that if you're first to admit your own mess, and not everybody is owed every detail of your own mess, but if you're the first to say, like, I have no problem saying, like, man, I was a bit of a walking disaster. Like, I wanted people to think, and again, none of this was like, ooh, this is my big plan, like have everybody think I have it put together. And I really don't. It just kind of happens. Like life happened really quick. I mean, my first year on College Game Day, I met my husband the night before my first day.
The story.
And then got married 3 months later, and then found out I was pregnant 8 months after that. And then you're on national TV. I'd never done anything like that. And people are stopping you. And I was a mess. All of a sudden I had money. I'd never had any money. Like, what do you do with that? It was a lot. And so I do look back with a sense of some compassion for myself. Like, man, I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
But some of it I did. Like when I would hear that voice of like, nope, this is a no, step away. Just step away from all this on your own. I wasn't.
But isn't this part of it? This is life. This is the journey. This is growth. And we're not supposed to know all that. Like, I don't know my mother was 22 when she had me. She got married at 21. She had me at 22 and Chad at 24. And it was like, I mean, I guess there was less out in the world, less craziness, but certainly other things that were difficult then. But like, she talks about that all the time. Okay, 22 to 32.
Yeah.
Huge. 32 to 42. Like, and let me tell you, 42 to 52, I am there. Like, I'm a different human. And so
yeah,
it is part of it. And then we try to tell our kids, hey, we give them advice and let's not do this. Trust me on this.
They don't
do
care
this
about that.
better. And our parents said it too. And we didn't listen because we needed to go do it ourselves and fall on our face and get back up and learn from it. And I'm not blowing you up, everybody. I mean, they're 39 years old. You're not even 40 yet. Like, yes, no, do not. I swear, I'm so jealous. Like, what a blessing that this happened earlier.
Yes.
Because the lessons that you have taken, I think it takes most people 10, 15, 20 years longer.
Yeah, I am so with you on that. I'm so grateful. It was one of the things, sometimes I look back and I'm like, why did God allow me? Because I didn't have some like really incredible, unique talent. There's a million girls who look like me coming out of college and wanted to do sports broadcasting. Like, this is not unique. It's not like I had a specific ability that made me so irreplaceable like everybody in this industry. It's like you come and go. But I look back now and think maybe God gave me that dream beyond the dream I had. I wanted to work for the Phoenix Suns. Like I thought that would be so cool. But he gave me this like big dream just to show me like, first he sets one up and another down. Like it's not a sign of whether he loves you or not, whether you have what society says is like an important job or not, you know? But that he gave me this opportunity to show me like, this isn't it. You think you want this and you think this is going to give you meaning and value. And then you're going to be special. You're going to be, and like, no, as my dad used to tell me when I was a kid, you're special, just like everybody else.
I love it.
And so that I was able to see like, oh, this is what it's like up here. And I'm looking around and you know this, you're looking around thinking, then why is everybody so miserable? Like, why is everything such a mess up here? If this is the big goal. This is what I'm always telling my kids about, like celebrities, and you know, my daughter wants to be an actress, and so we went through. We live in New York City, so I was like, can I go on these auditions and stuff? I'm like, all right, find me a child actor this really worked out well for. It's very few. I was like, you do a little research, see how this goes, and bring me. But we keep setting these kids up for these dreams, not considering the end in mind. Like, what is the goal here? Is it just to make a bunch of money and everybody clap for you? Yeah. And why? Why do we want that? You know, like, and all that comes with that. And then that it's not like if you get to that place and it's like, you've made it, then that's it. No, you got to hang on forever.
Yeah.
And we know the people that have tried to hang on forever, and it is ugly. Like that does not end well. So yes, to your point, I'm so grateful that I got kicked off. And if it means I never make that kind of money again, and, you know, people think I'm stupid or whatever people think, good. I can handle that.
Yes.
Like, God is with me. on the mountaintop and in the valley. And I will say, I feel him more in the valley. Because when you're up there, it's like, oh, I must have done quite well. Like, everybody's telling me all these nice things. And in the valley, you see reality. Like, the truth is, I am nothing unless he says I'm something. Like, I am a created being. And without my acknowledgement of my dependence on him, I'm living a lie. Like, I was living a lie. And I'm not saying I was like, I pretended like God didn't exist, but I was so distracted. Oh my gosh, was I distracted. Every day of my life, it was just like scrolling and like, what's this person saying? And what are even when I was with my kids, I was with my kids a lot. Like,
yeah.
I tried to be purposeful in saying no to things so I could be home more. But even when I was with them, my mind was, we talk about that, like frazzled, frayed edges of my brain. That's how it felt. It just felt like my brain was always thinking of all these other things. I wasn't fully present. I had 3 babies like that. I have so much regret. I mean, I have all summer babies. I went right back to work every time within weeks. And I look back like, oh my gosh, what was I thinking? And all these young women coming up, like, I just don't have those regrets. Don't have those regrets. I've yet to meet a person, and maybe there are some that at the end of their life are like, man, I wish I would have really grinded more. Wish I would have been more famous. And, no, it's the people. I wish I would have spent more time with my kids. I wish I would have really connected with my spouse. I messed that up. But to your point, how great that as I'm about to turn 40, I go in unemployed, homeschool mom, but I can see. I'm still a mess in so many ways, but my vision isn't blurry anymore. Like, I felt like I had this film over my eyes that was like clouding my vision. And that in some ways has been lifted, where I can see like, oh, this is what matters.
Yeah.
So I don't know where that goes from here, but at least I'm aware. Is that the first step? I think that.
Yes. Acknowledging we have a problem is the first step with addiction, right?
For
Or whatever
sure.
else.
Yes.
I am picturing you, Sam, waiting for those test results and hearing God's voice. What a beautiful moment when it could have gone the opposite way, where you don't hear his voice, and who knows what you do with it. And fortunately, your health is okay now. It's good now. But, I had a similar moment that is a story for another day with you and me and a glass of wine. It happened actually 3 times, and it was the exact same situation every time. And it was, personal life stuff. And I told my mom, and I remember she said, Sage, at the time she's late 60s, 70 years old. And she said, I have been waiting my whole life to get that kind of a message from God.
Wow.
And she said, the fact that you've received it on more than one occasion, she's like, I am so envious and happy for you, but so envious. And why do you think that you were able to hear him and receive him in that moment and now use that every day?
Number one, because I was quiet. I haven't been quiet in 20 years. Like, how can you hear him when you're just like running from one place to the next? Everybody's telling you stuff, and I wasn't quiet. So that was the first. But the second reason, so crazy to think back on this now, because I got to show my kids. Sorry, they were with me. We had an ice skate. We live close to Woolman Rink in Central Park, and it's been a huge blessing. Another thing that this job has allowed me to do. I'm so grateful for that. Have these kids right by this park, and we got our little ice skates, and it's in the winter, and we're carrying our ice skates to go over and go ice skating one day. And I was talking to them on the way about what I just heard from God. I had been upstairs when I was just sitting by myself, and when I sensed that in my spirit. And so I'm talking to my kids, carrying these ice skates, telling them, like, guys, they had seen me sick, so they knew something was wrong. When you're homeschooling, there's no hiding, they see your full self. They knew I was sick. And I was telling them, like, I felt such a peace when I got that, like, I'm with you, you're not alone. Felt such a peace. that I wanted to share it, you know? Like when you feel like I just heard from the God of the universe, like I got to tell somebody, but like these are my only friends right now. So I'm gonna tell these kids. And so I told them, we're walking. I was like, guys, I know you guys have been praying for me and we've been talking about it a lot. Now I'm sick and, you know, I'm not sure yet what it is. And I just want to tell you, like, I just heard from the God that made you three that he's with me. I'm not alone. You guys don't need to be afraid for mommy. Like, and right after, this is so crazy, and I sound like a crazy person saying it, but like, I got a phone call while I'm walking them. We're not to the rink yet. I got a phone call from the doctor. And this doctor says to me, well, Miss Ponder, I know what I told you before, and I got to tell you, I'm confused, but you don't have it. You're good. Here's what he told me. I want you to take this multivitamin. It's so crazy. I want you to take this multivitamin. I'm like a Flintstones? Like, what are we talking about right now? And it would have been something that would have changed my life and changed the way that the kids saw me and interacted with me. And I dropped the bag of ice skates on the ground. And I was just like, thank you, Lord. Not just because I don't have what I was told I had, but because my kids got to see that I trusted him before I knew. You know, like that they got to see that, like, even when it's scary and you don't know what's going to happen, you can still trust him. He's with you. That what we really want is not to have nothing go wrong. Because what a boring life, you know, is to not be alone and not feel that fear, and that he offers that to us. And I hadn't slowed down enough in my life to feel that security and that safety despite circumstances. Like I was still thinking as I'm explaining to them, like, yeah, I probably got this. There were a lot of reasons for me to think it was going to go bad. And so to your question, I think it's because my kids got to see, like I grew up getting to see the faithfulness of my parents. And one of my biggest fears in life is to not pass that legacy on. And I've done a really bad job for the last 20 years of passing that on. But that's not the end of the story. Like in that moment, they got to see like, man, my mom trusted God even when she thought her circumstances were bad, and I can do that too. That's what I hope. And maybe they won't even remember. Maybe they were like, well, yeah, we went ice skating that day, whatever. But like, that's my hope for them, is that they can save themselves from some of the pain that I have chosen and lived because they saw that up front and close. As you know, like we can say stuff to our kids about like faith and do this and make these choices, but like all they care about is how you live. Like they watch you. They don't listen to what you say. They watch how you live. And so I hope in that moment they saw a woman who was like fully dependent on God, no matter if the news was good or bad.
They will remember.
I hope so.
I believe that, knowing them and how in tune they are to you.
Well, that's terrifying.
No, it's not. It's beautiful. And I literally I'm so grateful that you've shared that story, because that is the best example you can give to your kids, because you shared it with them before the phone call from the doctor. Like that right there, the power of God. And we have the same hope, right? Like I just hope that my kids don't take as long to listen.
Gosh, same.
Like that's all I want.
Yeah.
Please listen. Listen to God, number one, of course. And when they're in their 20s, late teens, early 20s, it's hard.
Yeah.
All three of my kids are in very different phases right now of that with their faith. To the point where, you know, one's like, I don't know, Mom. The other one has tattoos of scriptures now, where I'm like, oh, okay. I thought we were not doing the tattoo thing, but if it's a scripture, I guess it's okay.
Oh, no. What do I do?
Oh. I don't know. Just again, I'm leading the way.
Yes.
I can tell you what not to do for every single thing here. There's so many.
Same, for sure. Same.
But like, that's the beauty of it. And I know that we're the same in this way too. Like I would go through all of this 100,000 times over and over again. The fear, the pain, the cancellation, the unemployment, the single again, the, oh my gosh, take it all. If I can make them better, if they can be better than me, I believe that's what every parent wants, is for our kids to be better. And to, yes, they have to have their journey, but the conversations that you've had with your kids, and I witness it, and then I hear about it, obviously, from you. I hope that, you need to give yourself more credit, and you're not going to right now. Fine. She's the worst at taking compliments, but I have not been around kids like yours ever.
Now you made me cry
No,
again.
I'm serious. It's weird. They're too good.
It's weird. We are weird, actually. We are
so
weird.
No, I'm this isn't normal. I'm going to tell a story.
Oh, gosh.
We were on the boat the other day, and we had gotten off the boat, and then we're on the houseboat. There's all kinds of boats out there. I mean, just boats and boats and boats. And my Quinn was with me, my oldest, and then all three of her kids.
Yeah, you like how I just kind of sent my kids to your boat? I was like, go with Auntie Sage. See it never.
Because they let me hug them, and mine don't. Except Quinn kind of does, because now she's an old soul. But I have to bribe the others. Do you know that with Evan, my youngest, I'm like, okay, 5 seconds. Let me hug you first. So we go 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4. And then she's like, okay, we're good. I'm like, okay, I got 5 seconds.
You got something.
That is a win. So enjoy it. But we're over here getting ready. Mickey, Rex's wife, is cooking, and we're just sitting up there relaxing. And all of a sudden, I see Scout come up to Quinn, and she's like, I need to talk to you.
Oh, gosh.
And I was watching the whole thing. I'm like, what is this? And Quinn's like, I don't know. This is so fun. Because my Quinn is 23, but she is a child at heart and always will be. And I hope she never loses it. And so Scout's like, there's a what? What was the party? They're having a luau.
A luau, yeah.
They're having a luau on the boat across the marina, 4 steps across, right? They're having a luau. They invited us. You want to go? And Quinn's like, are you sure they invited us? She's like, yeah, look. And they have the Lays, and they have the coconut bras.
Oh, of course. Of course.
And I look over, and Scout has all 3, her 2 siblings and Quinn over there, and they are part of this family's luau.
Strangers to me.
Yeah. And I'm like, and they come back over, and they have Lays, and of course all the coconut bras.
Yeah.
And
Christian loved that.
Christian loved that part. He's like, what exactly is going
happening?
on? And I'm like, what 11-year-old girl says, hey, let's go to their party and go say hi? And I look over, and Quinn came back, and Scout is holding court with this family, and polite, and a great handshake, and smiles, and looks after her brother and sister, and they look after each other. I don't know. They are beautiful little souls. And you've always been a great mom. This past year, another level, because you're there. It isn't about what makes you a great mom. It is the presence of being there. And for me to witness this a year later and to see their growth is awesome. So hell yeah, fire her every day of the week. Do what you want. Say what you want about us, right? Because your kids are winning. They are incredible human beings.
Well, thank you for saying that, especially because I came here today off of a full breakdown argument about who got the last peach this morning in our hotel. The peach is here. That peach truck.
In Nashville.
Man, full. Have you had the peaches?
No.
The peach truck? You don't know about this? I'll tell you about that later. But they were fighting over it. No, we're a mess like everybody else, and our kids fight, and it is, homeschooling 3 kids. It's something. It's a lot. But I will say, I just know that I will never, ever, not for a second, regret spending more time with them.
Never.
Because I'm the one, now, for better or for worse, I'm the one doing the training, hearing the complaint, helping them work through their own issues. That is one of the great things about living in New York City is there's such a high dependence on independence. My kids can, take the train and walk themselves. When they were in school, they would walk themselves to school or walk to a friend's house or go to the bodega on the corner. My 8-year-old's going to pick up drinks on the corner and come back, soda. on the corner. And so and they run a little lemonade stand out front. And my 8-year-old son sells baseball cards out in front of the house and like has his own little business, and Scout sells bracelets. And, you know, there's a high value on independence. So they do get a lot, they're interacting with people all day, every day. Like they've been rejected many, many times and learned how to deal with that. So a lot of it is just me being around enough to facilitate opportunities for them to grow away from me, which is kind of strange, but like I'm there and they don't realize I'm upstairs, like watching them while they sell all this stuff on the street or whatever. But it gives them a sense of autonomy and capability. Like, why can't I go over to that boat and meet some people? It's the same thing my parents told me when I was a kid that I want my kids to understand. If you can get that you are no more valuable than anybody else, but you are no less valuable than anybody else, you can walk into any room with your head held high with a certain humble confidence that says like, I know I'm not more special than you, but I'm not less special than you either. So why can't I look you in the eye and shake your hand and have a conversation? And I don't understand. I don't care if you're, 65. Now I had to remind my 6-year-old this week because she's over there like, hey, Rex, what are you doing? I'm like, what? This is a grown man. You can't talk to him like that. We have to have those conversations. My 6-year-old who's like maybe more on the confidence than the humility.
Okay,
We're working on that.
It was me, Rex, Mickey sitting at the table, and all of a sudden, Price pulls out the chair, pulls right up, and she's like, "What are you talking about?" And I'm like, "Oh,
no fear.
You have given that. That is priceless. That is something that they carry with them long after we're gone, and therefore your grandchildren and their kids. Like, this is a gift that you've been, and you were always present." But
not
mentally.
I mean, physically present.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
But now, mentally, there too. And these little differences are just life altering.
Yeah. I mean, it means so much to me that you would even notice a difference, because I do feel a difference. Not like I feel like I'm doing great. Are you kidding me? Every day, my oldest is like, "So when are you going back to work?" I'm like, "Get out." Okay. Like Dave asked Scout, who's sitting talking to her, because he was asking me about homeschool, and I'm explaining like all this stuff, and we do art at the Met, and we're taking the train up to Boston for the American Revolution, and we're going to DC and going to the White House. I'm like, bringing up the good things about it.
Yeah.
And so Dave looks at her like a normal person would, and is like, so what do you think if your mom is a teacher? She's like, the worst.
No.
You know what? At least you have the confidence to say how you feel. We're working on that. Like, this is a good thing. So you as the parent, you're just taking L's constantly. But then, like, I'll take all those L's if then when they're around other people. They know, like it's way back there, but like back there, they know, like, oh, this is how you treat people.
That's when
like this is how you ask this and have a conversation and make that person feel important. Like that's what I'm hoping they're getting. I'll take all as you know, because you've dealt with it with young kids who are now older. I'm okay with you hating me for a while.
Oh, yeah.
Like hopefully it's not like a deep-seated hate,
Right.
but like being annoyed with me and thinking I'm the worst. That's how I felt about my parents for a while. And then, mid-20s, then you come back and you see like, oh, wow, actually, I don't know what I'm doing. Like maybe they did tell me some good things.
I'm sorry. I love you, Mom. I'm sorry.
Yes. And that's the hope. Because I'm messing up a ton of stuff. I mean, I will say I have never apologized so much in my life. I mean, it's literally at the end of every day. Hey, buddy, sorry about how I handled that, or I just trying. But what I realized is by me doing that, where I would have thought in the beginning, oh, are they going to respect me less, or like think I don't know what I'm doing? It's contagious, because then I'll hear them saying that to each other, or like the way they soften when I say, I'm sorry, because I normally try and, be pretty sure with them. So they have a sense of like, okay, there's someone in charge here. I know that, she's in charge and I'm the kid. Like I do want there to be that boundary. But then when I apologize for things, it's almost like it softens them. Yeah. And they get more used to then apologizing. And it kind of like, it's a muscle you build.
And that they're not going to be crushed if they apologize. Like,
yes. So we are so much a work in progress. And if you ask me, we're doing all right. If you ask the kids, they probably say, we're not doing all right.
Yeah, but I've also then seen the kids, and I can take a step back. And when you're in it, it's so hard.
Yeah.
But I love that you have taken on this role that you never had on your bingo card.
Gosh.
That's for sure. But like the fact that you're probably learning too, right?
Are you kidding me? Sage. The number of times they're like, Mom, can you help me with this? And I want to be like, no, actually, I know none of this.
Google.
If I didn't have Chat GPT, are you kidding me? I'm like, what should I do today? I am their teacher. There's so many. It's genuinely
Interesting.
though. Chat. Their real teacher. They say they don't like me as their teacher. Their real teacher is Chat GPT.
They don't dislike you. Actually.
Exactly. I'm just going to pass that off.
This is a W,
to
not an
AI.
L.
Yes,
Correct.
for sure. But I'm learning a ton. We're doing homeschool together. we are all learning as we go.
What's next?
Oh my gosh.
Sam, how many millions of times have you been asked that?
It's not fair that you ask me this because you know the answer, and the answer I have no freaking clue what I'm doing with my life.
But I actually think that is a great answer too, because we're not supposed to know. Like, this has been your life for decades, and all of a sudden it's not. And you've been really busy since, doing things that are way more important than anything we've ever accomplished professionally, right? And so there's no time frame. There's no timeline on this. You don't have to know.
Well, and I was always in such a rush. I mean, I even look at when I was a kid. Man, I was just always rushing to get to the next thing, the next stage of life. I think it's Thomas Rhett that has the song about like when you're looking forward to when you're 16 and you could drive, and then you're 21 and you can drink and go out, and and then it's like when I get married or when I have kids. Well, I've done all that now, and I've seen that not one of those stages are you like, oh, okay, I'm good now. Like I can rest in this. It's like, what's coming next? So I'm trying to not do that this time around. I don't want to miss. I mean, I would like to figure out whatever giftings I have, if there are some outside of what I've always done, because this is all I've known. But I've seen the result of the, like, I've got a plan. I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do that. And because I was such a dreamer, and like, I'm going to have all this stuff and just do it my own way. And I've seen the result of that. I mean, I got all the things I ever thought I wanted by like 26. More money than I ever thought I would have. The cars, the stuff, the husband, the kid on the way, the house, the job, and like, are you kidding me? It showed who I really was deep down in a way that is so terrifying that now I can look back and say, like, I mean, thank God I was able to learn some of this stuff early, but I don't know if it was a gift or a curse to get all that. Like, I can look back and see, like, would I have been better off if I would have just been content with a little, I don't know. I can't answer that question. I wouldn't have my husband. I wouldn't have my kids. So obviously I'm happy with the result of some of those choices, but I don't want to repeat that same mistake again. And like, anytime I get an email or a call from someone that's like, hey, you want to do this job or you want to come here? Obviously it's flattering. Like, I'm glad that anybody cares or thinks I have anything of value, but I don't want to be, what does a proverb talk about? Like a dog returning to its vomit. Like, stop. I don't want to be the person that just makes the same mistake again, but now it's in a new lane. So now it's going to be different this time. Like, no, I know my temptations. I know how quickly it is to get sucked back into that, like, approve of me. Everyone tell me I'm, this, that, and the other.
You won't.
And I want to be a better example for my kids of like, what is real success? Like, what does it actually mean? Does it really mean just like a certain amount of money in your bank account? Because if that's true, I've met way too many rich people to think that's what I want. So I don't know. I genuinely have no idea. I know we're going to homeschool for one more year.
Are you? And travel?
We're going to go my parents have lived in the Middle East for part-time for like over 15 years. And so we're going to do like a tour of biblical history. I took my oldest to Israel a couple of years ago, and we're going to try and go back. Obviously, a lot of volatility over there, so we don't have that exactly scheduled, but I want to kind of walk them through, like, these aren't just stories, like, these are the real places. Like, you can stand on the Mount of Olives, you can be at Bethesda, you can, all these things that will make the stories we're telling them feel real, because they are. And then maybe do like a World War II European journey and just travel for a while and live simply on the road and stay at bad hotels. That is what we've got to do. I know we've talked about this before, but these kids live too fancy for too long, starting to think like, my son walked into a hotel in Nashville and was like, this room is tiny. I was like, you're sleeping on the street. Like, I'm sorry, these kids, because they grew up with stuff. And like, I had a level of gratitude. I had a million other problems, but a level of gratitude that came from like, oh, wow, I've never gotten to do this before.
Yeah.
And, you know, our kids grew up just expecting. So anyway, Christian's going to hate it because he's going to have to suffer along with us. But I'm like, we need to take these kids on like a real trip. And even though they're getting to do these amazing things, like live a little simply along the way. So I don't know. I know we're going to do that. Other than that, I don't have a clue. You're stuck with me. So you know,
so stuck
no,
because
no
we're
getting away.
Because we're twinsies.
Yes.
There's so many people who have written you and called you or tried and texted over the last year. And I think many have good intentions.
Yeah, sure.
You know, others maybe not so much. And that's fine. What is your message to all those people who, regardless of their intent for reaching out, but who have been like, gosh, what happened?
Yeah.
What happened to Sam? And how is Sam?
Yeah. Yes, you can say multiple true things. One, I think an element of why I was fired was, if you want to call it unjust, or let's just say it in another way, for a ridiculous reason. I think part of why I got fired was that. That's just my opinion. And I'm so grateful. Like, I'm so grateful. Not like in a fake, like, oh, yay, it led me to my path. But, like, genuinely, I have been with my kids all the time, getting to know them. And Sage, they know me for better or for worse. Like, they really know me. And I think for a lot of parents, you're so, like, trying to keep things together and present things a certain way with your kids, especially in generations before us, that until your kids are adults, your kids don't really know you, you know?
Yeah.
And I can say, like, I feel like my kids, they see the bad, but we're connected in a way that we wouldn't have been, certainly not right now, if this would not have happened. I will also say to everybody out there, because I've heard from so many people who have said, like, we agree with you, but, you know, fill in the blank. Telling the truth, as long as you do it from a place of love, like genuine love. Clarity is kindness. If you can tell the truth from a place of love, do it now. Because what happened is we all self-censored, except for
All
you.
of us. No, but I did until I didn't. I did
Sure.
for years too.
We self-censor, and so then we're the silent majority. And that's dangerous. Like, quite literally. I mean, my daughter, who's 6, walked into a women's bathroom with a man dressed in next to nothing, live streaming himself in states of undress inside a women's bathroom, talking about, as I walked in, because I was a little bit behind her, saying, look at this innocent little girl on his live stream, videotaping.
What?
It's dangerous for us to tell women, 1, to be quiet, 2, to not trust their gut instinct. I mean, you want to talk about believe all women. That's what they wanted to say for a while there about other stuff, right?
Yeah.
How about tell women to trust that internal whatever it is that says, like, you know what she said when she came out? She said, I got a creepy feeling when I was in there. And I said, Bryce, you trust that feeling. When you get that creepy feeling, you get away. You tell somebody, you say something, and we are raising up a generation of girls who, instead of being told to trust that feeling or say something, speak up, no, you be quiet. You need therapy. Don't say anything. Keep it quiet. It's offensive. Guess what? I am done caring if I offend that man in there with my 6-year-old daughter. I'm done. And that doesn't make me unloving. Like, who are we caring for here? The 6-year-old little girl or the man who is clearly unwell, and any honest person can recognize that. I don't care what end of the political spectrum you are on. You're around someone like that. I was up close and personal with him. He is clearly unwell, and he deserves compassion and help, not lies. We do not tell someone who is anorexic, yeah, you know what? You are fat. I'm going to affirm. Let's affirm your 16-year-old daughter who thinks she's fat when she's 100 pounds. No, affirming is not love. Telling the truth, of course with kindness and compassion, is love. Like, We need to be honest. And it's what I didn't do for years. For years. I kept my mouth shut until people like you went first. And you get a little bit of courage and a little bit more courage. And then eventually you get that jolt of courage and you say something. We all need to do that. Because we all know. Like we all, deep down, we know that this is not right. So that's what I would say. I'm good.
You're great, is what
Sad,
you are.
and you can be sad about the end of something and excited about a new season. And that's me. And want to encourage other people. Speak up. Do it with kindness. Be compassionate. Don't be mean or rude, but say what's true.
You never got a reason why, though. They never flat out said, here's why.
I
right?
think when they read that script, I think they said business reasons, which I think is true because I think they were worried about Disney, that activist group that they told me about privately. I would get calls later from different bosses. And
the email that we both got 2 minutes apart in the summer of 2023 about, and I'd mentioned, I think, or at least someone later did, the group that was based in Burbank, maybe moving to Orlando and Disney, and that they are angry that we are saying what we're saying, which is, of course, supporting women. So this group's very, very, very small, vocal minority.
But they control a lot of companies.
Yes.
I mean, a lot of really big companies, which is why a lot of people are scared.
But they never said, you shouldn't have said this. You shouldn't have said that. You shouldn't have tweeted this.
Yeah. The email they sent me back that had detailed every tweet I sent and why it was.
Right. But I mean, at your firing.
Oh, no. At the firing. No, I bet it was less than a minute phone call. I mean, it was really quick. That's another thing people need to remember. Like, I worked there for 14 years. They didn't even acknowledge. And I don't need them to acknowledge. This is just stating the facts. Like, there was no, like, all right, Sam's no longer part of the company, and now we're hiring this person. It was just like, I remember I was sitting on the couch. And because I felt fine about it, I could still watch ESPN. I still watch Countdown. Like, I'm still a fan of those guys. I love those guys. And literally, it was like a week later, they had a promo for the show. And it was I was just cut out of everything.
They just
I actually
photoshopped it.
Yeah. They didn't have time to like take new pictures and everything, so they just used the same ones and just kind of worked around. I actually thought that was kind of funny. But
what would your message be to what I think was once a great network? Like, I firmly believe that the place where we began was great. I do not believe that anymore, and it breaks my heart because as a sports fan, which is all that any of us are as a sports fan, I feel like, is it too late? Can they get back?
No, it's not too late. It's not too late. And they just have to decide, like, look, the corporate elements and the Disney stuff.
The Disney part.
Makes it complicated, and I'm sure. But here's the thing. I know many liberal people in positions of power there that agree on this. I was told privately, like, we agree with you on this, but there's a loud activist group at Disney. So what I would say is the same thing I was just saying, like, for them too. Like, this is why we have to tell the truth. Because if all those people told the truth, when they're in the meetings and the people it's just assumed everybody agrees, like, right? We're fine with this. We need to affirm. We need to, no misgendering. Well, it's like, the courage it takes to be the first one in that meeting when you have a cushy corporate job. I know how hard it is because I've been in those rooms and not raised my hand. But I would say the same thing to those guys who fired me. I don't think the guys who fired me, I know some of them don't, but believe any of this. They're just going along to get along. They don't want to lose their jobs. Everybody's got their 401k and but the vast majority, and certainly anyone who like was a legit athlete, the number of pro athletes, are you kidding me, that have, but those people, I mean, I think Aaron Rodgers was the first one recently in terms of like a big name pro athlete that was like, yeah, this is ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
But
well, that makes me
around
mad.
the dinner table, we're in those rooms still. We still have a lot of friends that played or are playing, and it's almost laughable that this is even an issue. It's so ridiculously unfair. My daughter in New York City sports has now played against two boys, had to guard two boys who are already more developed and are just naturally bigger. I can always tell by the way. I mean, I'll spare you the details, but what they need to do is they need to be honest.
Yes.
Not on a phone call, not, whispering. If everybody would just be honest, this problem would go away.
It would be gone. It would have been gone a long time.
Yes.
It never would have gotten to this point. And if we truly believe in diversity and equity and inclusion and acceptance and tolerance, I've said this forever, it begins with diversity of thought. And we can have different opinions and speak different opinions and still work together and not fire people for being different or cancel people for being different. And that's what I want these leaders to do. Number one, just tell the truth and do it with kindness and love. And number two, be consistent. And it's not just the people that you agree with or agree with your narrative that can speak up, the different rules that different people at ESPN have.
Yeah.
That is diversity of thought, and to not crush others who aren't a different, they have a different opinion for whatever reason. It's okay.
Can I ask you a question about that?
Yes, because I can't shut up about it until I see a change.
I am curious about this because I've wrestled with this in my own mind, and I would love your perspective. When you say the selective choosing of who gets to say what they think about things, I think it was obvious. I mean, we had people on our air at ESPN that were talking about, being pro-abortion and different, there were things that had nothing to do with sports that were said on the air. So it was clear that there was one angle that was allowed. I think that's pretty universally known at this point. But I guess my question about that, because in the beginning I was like, yeah, that's so unfair. But then I thought, but if Disney, the company that owns them, clearly has that agenda, isn't it their company?
It is.
So at the end of the day, isn't it more on us for hey, if I really don't align with this company and their values, well, then why am I cashing checks?
You're right.
I had that, I don't know if you want to call it guilt or whatever, of being how can I say, it's not fair that you don't let me speak up on this. And they're like, yeah, because we disagree with that. And we think that's, we think you're a bigot or a hateful, or whatever.
I was a racist who hated women. That was me.
Yeah, clearly. But yeah, I've wrestled with that. Okay, well, maybe that's just on me for working for a company that clearly, really doesn't align on values.
Yes.
And then shouldn't I just shut up about it? If I'm gonna take their money, that's why for a while and maybe this is, I don't know if I'm thinking about the wrong way, but what's your perspective?
I think it's very fair. I liken it back to my NBA days when the LA Clippers and Donald Sterling was the owner, and he was doing all these crazy racist things for years and years and years and years. But then I think Doc Rivers ended up being the head coach there, and he's like, yeah, I knew it for years, but he knew it, but he still took the job and cashed that check. And I was always confused by that. And I love Doc, but I was like, wait, if you knew it ahead of time, then why do you take that job? ESPN wasn't like that.
Yeah, that's true. I did not know that when I started there.
Timing-wise, it didn't. Maybe it was, but we never felt it. It was never discussed. And then the world changed, social media, and I believe things really turned when Obama became president, certainly in 2016 with Trump. Yeah. So it was an evolution to the point, because we were told for years, no politics.
Yes.
And no one did it. We all listened. And then when Trump got elected, when our executives began tweeting how livid they were that Trump was president over Hillary. These are our bosses who told us not to tweet anything, started to do it. It was just confusing.
Yeah.
So when I was happy for the no politics policy because it was consistent.
Yeah.
And then that was the thing. Don't tell us we can't do it and allow them to.
Yeah.
But not others. So which one is it? And if that's the case now I know. And then
just be honest about it. Be honest and say your views don't align with our values, so we don't want you speaking on them because you represent our company.
Yes, and if you're going to let fill in the blank all these other names who do it, okay, fine. But it was never said. It just was I literally didn't think I did anything wrong.
It was said on the phone to me one time because I was told I couldn't do something, and I literally just came back and said, well, I'm watching another person at our company.
And this was what year?
Doing this last year,
2023, right before you got fired. That, see what I mean?
Yeah, and I said, I'm watching this person doing it right now. I was literally watching them
on
TV. And the response was, I wrote it down because I was like, I cannot believe this was just said to me. They just said, the rules are different for him. And I just feel like
that's so
is he here?
I think he's here. I'm like, oh,
and in some ways, I know it sounds strange, but I respected that more. I'm like, yes, that's just what you guys need to do. Yes. You need to say, because frankly, with who this person was and is, I was like, yeah, he brings more money to the company than I do.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I understand the capitalist nature of all this. Like, this
Absolutely.
makes sense. You need to make money. For a while there, I was like, are we not trying to make money? We need to make money as a
Right.
company. I'm like, we need to understand the business element of all this. So I'm fine with that. But just say it.
Yeah.
Be clear that the rules are not the same for everyone. Like, this is not about equity.
Yes.
You know, this is actually, we need to make money and this makes us more money. Some people have asked me, like, why are some people at the company allowed to speak on this issue and some people are not? And the answer is very simple. They're more valuable to the company.
They're more valuable to
I'm
the
not,
company.
like-
and they go along with the narrative that Bob Iger and everybody on down, even if they don't fully believe it, that is how they're having their people practice. That is what has been deemed acceptable through all their actions and words in some cases. I just think it happened kind of under our noses. And we were just grinding away and going to work every day. And then it was like, that's weird. Okay, back to work.
Yeah.
Well, that's weird. Okay. And then, for me, it was so blatant and you are suspended and you are this. And then, but at the same time, some of those same people are saying the exact opposite, like on their platforms when I'm like doing it over here one day versus every day. So then it was like, okay, now I'm not doing this anymore. Now I'm going to call you on it because of it. So I completely agree. We know that. And they are private companies. They do have a right to do that. I always said to I have a younger brother, much, much, much younger. And 20 years ago, he was like, I thought job at UPS. And he's like, I'm like, well, if you don't like the brown uniforms, like don't work at UPS because you have to wear the brown uniforms there, right? And they're ugly, but like that's part of it. And if you don't like it, don't take that job. I view it the same way.
Yeah.
If we don't now we all know this happened while we were there in those later stages. And at the end of the day, we all do have choices. And I'll shut up after this because we need 6 more hours today. I'm so sorry I've kept you. I am so proud of you. And I say this as a sister, not like because I'm older or a year ahead in whatever way. I am so proud of you because screw anything you did in your career and on TV. It was beautiful and amazing every time. And like while you're being a mother, all those things. Like your faith is what has guided you through so much. And it has helped me more than you know. And like we grew up differently. Catholic, but like we're not into scripture and the Bible. It's just different. And then you are open about yours. And when you share it on your Instagram story, when you're doing the ask me whatever questions, like I screenshot that and I'm like, oh my gosh, like you have continued to help me. And I know you. Imagine the millions of people that you are continuing to help by being open with your faith. And now by being open about your experience and your feelings and your vulnerabilities. Please, please don't underestimate what you are doing for others right now. And the way you've chosen to handle this with grace, such grace and class, and humility. Like, I look up to you in so many ways, okay? Just know that. And I thank you for trusting me because I know that this is not anything you wanted to talk about because it's painful.
Yeah.
And I'm just honored and I'm so damn proud of you. Know that.
You led the way. The only reason I would get those little like minutes of courage is because I watched you walk through it.
And call you crying.
I watched you walk through it, and man, doing the right thing is contagious. Be around people like this who will do the right thing even at great personal cost, because that courage will rub off. You went first and gave me the courage. And if I could just say one last thing, because it really is like my only like real message. I hope this doesn't come across like I'm bitter or angry or like mad at anybody. Like I feel none of those feelings, but here's what I just want people to know. Like God is faithful when we are not. Like I messed so much stuff up and he was still there. Like when everything went away, he was still there. The same thing he said to me, he says to everybody else. Like, you are not alone. He is with you. It's never too late. Doesn't matter how you grew up. Doesn't matter what you're going through. Doesn't matter how bad things are feeling right now, it is never too late. I'm so glad I got to live it, so I can say that from a place of experience and not like, oh, I'm preaching to people, or I was told this. Like, yeah, I was told that. My parents lived it, but now I can say I lived it. Like, I lived it. I just had the best year of my life. I got fired. I'm a homeschool mom. It's ridiculous. I have to laugh because if you would have told me you're pushing 40 and you just lost your job, you got 3 kids around you complaining all the time because you're the worst teacher, and there's uncertainty. I don't know what's coming next. A lot of uncertainty. If you'd have told me that, I would have been like, man, things went real bad. Like, how'd things get that bad? And that is the exact opposite. Like, thank God. Thank God for good friends. For good friends like you. Seriously, the most loyal friend I've ever had. And thank God that he's faithful even when we aren't. I love you. And I'm so sorry I talked so much.
I am sorry. I'm sobbing. I'm sorry I kept you. And the world, man, watch out. Because it is just beginning. Hug those babies. And
are you kidding me? They want to move in with you.
Can we stay?
Can I
be? What did Scout call me? The God Fairy Mother?
Yes.
I love you, girl. Thank you.
Love you. Gosh, I didn't want to cry that many times. I specifically went to Walgreens and bought a waterproof mascara just because I knew I was coming in with you.